Have you ever ended the day thinking, oh man, we didn't get to that read aloud again? And then the guilt creeps in. You believe in read alouds, you know they matter, but between snacks, math help, naps, nursing, laundry, sibling squabbles, it just feels like the day has just disappeared. Now, just recently, I was speaking at the Embracing Homeschool Summit, and one mom told me something that I hear all of the time. She said, look, I've got a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and an infant. And she wanted to do daily read alouds, but she was also feeling like she was failing. And if this sounds familiar, I want you to stay with me because today I'm going to show you why consistent exposure matters more than perfection and how to make read alouds work in real life, even on messy days. Now, if we haven't met yet, my name is Joanne Kaminsky. I am the founder of Bright Idea Reading Tutoring, and I've been helping struggling readers since 2000. I've worked online since 2010, helping homeschool families, online charter schools, public and private school students, children diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia, and here is what I know for sure. Children don't need perfect. They just need language, rich language, consistent language, and exposure over time. And that can happen in different ways. It doesn't have to look Pinterest perfect, right? So in this video, I'm going to cover why read-alouds matter so much, especially for struggling readers, how to make read-alouds realistic for busy families, what to do if you miss a day, and when read-alouds just aren't enough. So let's start with why this even matters in the first place. When children hear rich language aloud, they absorb advanced vocabulary. They strengthen their listening comprehension, they build background knowledge, they develop this narrative understanding, and they internalize fluent reading patterns. And here's something important. This is especially powerful for students with ADHD who benefit from auditory input, students with dyslexia who need language exposure separate from decoding, and children who resist independent reading. When we remove the pressure of decoding, their brains are free to absorb meaning. And here's the part many parents don't realize. Even if the toddler is playing, even if the older kid is coloring, even if the baby is fussing, listening still counts. Language exposure is happening. It doesn't have to look quiet to be effective. So let's refine this completely for you, okay? Because the idea that everyone must sit crisscross applesauce, in a perfect circle, it is just not real life. Am I right? Here are some simple ways to make it work. 1, read during lunch. Everyone's already seated, and even if you're serving 3 different meals, someone spills milk, or someone asks for ketchup 3 times, 10 minutes during lunch counts. You don't need candles and a basket of curated literature. You just need consistency. 2, use bedtime for individual read-alouds. You don't have to read the same book to everyone. A picture book for your preschooler, a chapter book for your older child. This connection builds literacy. And sometimes it's also the most powerful reading moments that are happening is one-to-one in pajamas when the house is maybe semi-quiet. 3, let them play while you read. When my girls were young, they didn't sit perfectly. Sometimes they flipped through the other books, they built with blocks, they colored, but they were listening. We have to stop equating stillness with learning. Language exposure still happens even if their bodies are moving. And 4, use audiobooks in the car. Audiobooks are incredibly effective. They're effective for homeschool families, busy after-school families, public and private school families. Car time becomes classroom time without feeling like school. And here's the key. Pause once in a while and ask, what happened? What do you predict? Why did the character act that way? Discussion deepens comprehension. And 5, you can use some online read-aloud resources without guilt. Some days you just need backup, and there are 2 helpful options. The first one is Storyline Online. So here's Storyline Online. We can see it's got all of these different really great books that are out there. It's got ones that are featured just for, February, ones that were just added, and then it's got a section where all of the books are located. And I think there's over like 100 or 200 books that are out there. So it's a really great resource. Let's take a look real quick at Trombone Shorty, featured by Angela Bassett.
Welcome to Storyline Online, brought to you by the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. I'm Angela Bassett, and today I'm reading Trombone Shorty, written by Troy Andrews and illustrated by Brian Collier. Where you at? We have our own way of living down here in New Orleans, and our own way of talking, too. And that's what we like to say when we want to tell a friend hello. So, where you at? Lots of kids have nicknames, but I want to tell you the story of how I got mine.
I just love the way how it goes from Angela back into the book, and then it's adding some motion into the book. It is absolutely fantastic. Another great resource is books. And if we take a look here, here is an example with books.
Chapter 1. Getting Ready. Hi, I'm Chelsea. My family is getting ready for a big holiday. It's called Chinese New Year.
I really like with books how it has, like, it's going along with the words, and you can see them being revealed in darker black as it's being read. This is very similar to a parent who is taking their finger and going underneath the words as they are reading so that their child can follow along. I really love that. Books is a paid subscription, whereas Storyline Online is free for everyone. But books, if you are homeschooling your family, go for the educator package because it will only be $2.99 a month. So it's an absolute no-brainer for those days where you just feel like you need to fit it in. Now, don't feel like that if you're using some of these support tools that you are a failure. No, you're creating flexibility inside of what read-alouds look like in your home. So what if we miss a day? Well, nothing is ruined. Literacy is developed over years, so missing Tuesday does not undo Monday. Start again tomorrow. Perfectionism is the enemy of consistency. Your child does not need 365 days of flawless reading days. They just need a mom or a dad who keeps showing up. Now, I once worked with a homeschool family who felt like they had failed because their son actually hated reading. But guess what? He had years of rich read-aloud exposure. So he actually understood stories very deeply, and he had a really strong vocabulary. His comprehension was solid, but he struggled with decoding. Because read-alouds build language beautifully, but they don't replace structured reading instruction, which brings me to something important. When read-alouds aren't enough. So if your child does struggle to decode words, avoids reading, is falling behind grade level, has ADHD or dyslexia, they may need structured evidence-based instruction. And as a licensed reading teacher, reading specialist, and dyslexia specialist, I use Orton-Gillingham-based methods to help students close the reading gaps. Now, most students, they achieve approximately 1 year of reading growth in about 12 hours of targeted instruction. Read-alouds build the language foundation. Structured instruction builds the decoding skills, and both matter. So if this has encouraged you, would you do me a favor? Subscribe to this channel. I share practical literacy strategies to homeschool and busy families every week. Join my email list. I send resources, encouragement, and real-life reading support straight to your inbox. And if you feel that your child needs more structured help, you can also schedule a free consultation. I'll link that below. But first, let's just stay connected. You're not behind. You're building language. You're building readers. You're nurturing thinkers. Even messy read-alouds matter. So sneak it in. Read while they color. Press play in the car. Whisper a chapter at bedtime. It counts. Start small, but don't think small. Every page you read is building something bigger than you can see.